Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, the official recap show for WrestlingNewsWorld.com, and also found here on YouTube.com/Smacked Raw podcast, plus everywhere else you can find your podcasts. But we're not here to recap a show. We're actually here to do something completely original, the unpopular wrestling opinions. And you know, for a special show like this, we had to at least get Mr. Unpopular Opinion himself, Steven from Wrestling News World, on the show with us, and also Thomas joining us as well. How's it going, fellas?
Doing well, man. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, just nervous as shit. I appreciate it. I'm used to just talking a lot, but not really trying to direct a show. So
it is different, isn't it?
It is a little bit different, but I'm ready for it. Joining us too, of course, you guys may recognize him from our NXT recaps. Occasionally joins me on Raw, Mr. SES Vince over here.
What is up? What is up, Kyle? I'm excited for this. This is new territory we're about to enter here, man.
Yeah, I know. I hope it is not a pile of hot garbage. Okay, so before we get off into the rules of the show, I feel like it's nice to get to know our guests coming on. So first joining us, Mr. Steven from North Carolina, a fellow North Carolinian. Tell me what you do with Wrestling News World.
I am the business manager for Wrestling News World, which means pretty much whatever Tom needs done on the business side, it falls into my lap. I also I've been able to recruit and help out a bunch of people that wanted to get their opinions out, and we have a very, very talented group of writers over Wrestling News World. Come over, check out the opinions, check out the live coverage. We've added recaps. We just added back Ask WNW, which is a feature we used to do quite some time ago, where you can ask us questions over at Wrestling News, over at WNW News. Send over your questions and we'll answer them. And then, of course, Premium. We had a great Tessa Blanchard Premium story this week. So, yeah, I'm pretty much a jack of all trades, and Tom gets to sit back and recoup all the positive stuff I do.
Nice. And just to get a little bit better acquainted with you, two-part question: what's your favorite fast food chain, and are you wearing pants?
So first off, I'm wearing pants. Right. And secondly, if you live in the South, it's Bojangles. I mean, there's literally no other answer. So Bojangles, and I'm wearing pants.
All right. I appreciate that. And now moving over to Mr. Thomas Fenton. What do you do with Wrestling News World, my friend?
I'm the co-owner and vice president of Wrestling News World. I have the pleasure of telling Steve what to do for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Unless he's on vacation, then just 20 hours that day.
Yes.
And we are currently working with Synergy Pro Wrestling right now to promote the July 11th for the First Responders American Nurses Foundation show, featuring Alex Zane versus Blake Christian in an Iron Man matchup on Fight TV on July 11th. So that's kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah, tune into that. I've been saying it, man. Do yourself a favor. We all love pro wrestling, and how good would it feel to watch pro wrestling and give to a good cause simultaneously? Same. Back two-part question to you again. What's your favorite fast food chain, and are you wearing pants?
I definitely have pants on. I don't have a favorite fast food chain. I don't do a ton of it. I'd probably say Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Okay, it's a safe choice.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, you guys. Thank you for that. So tonight's show, how it's going to work is going to be unpopular wrestling opinions, where I am going to feature various opinions from Twitter that I've pulled directly off. I will flash them on screen. We'll give whoever said it a shout out. And then you three will debate whether the opinion is valid or not valid. And if we like the opinion, you guys are going to go ahead and hear this.
Oh, yeah.
And then if it ends up being trash, you're going to get one of these. There we go. Of course, you guys can't hear that. That's totally on the back end.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like,
Yeah,
were we
no.
supposed to hear something there?
No, man. Vince, you know how this works.
I'm just giving you a little shit, man. Just trying to break the tension a little bit, make sure we're in a competitive atmosphere, you know?
All right. Yes. Okay. So I think you guys will get how this works right away. So without further ado, let's dive into the first opinion of the night. And it comes from at Calla Sammy. Says, might be an unpopular opinion, but at WrestleMania 28, it was time to turn John Cena heel. Imagine if he low-blowed The Rock behind the ref, hit all The Rock's moves to win the match. Imagine the nuclear heat Cena would have received. He would easily become the biggest heel in wrestling. I think the one thing to take note here, this was the first matchup between The Rock and Cena. You guys, is this a unpopular opinion or is it good?
You guys are the guests, by all means.
I'll jump in. It's an awful opinion. Anytime ever turning John Cena heel, it sounds really cool in theory, but it's a really bad idea. Why? He's a giant merch seller. Half the audience loves him, and I don't know. You gain so much more by having a guy like John Cena as a face. Like CM Punk probably doesn't get CM Punk level of love without hated babyface John Cena. So no, it's an awful opinion.
Well, sure. And if you look into what you just mentioned with the audiences too, and we now look at the demographics for the week by week, and we're seeing the lower aged audiences going away because those lower aged kids were watching for John Cena. Whether certain fans want to admit it or not, he was a huge draw. He sold the house shows. He was the one that put the younger fans in the seats. You go back to the merchandise, though. They would lose millions of dollars a month in sheer merchandise alone. For what? A 4-month heel run to please 20% of your audience?
Okay, well, quickly, storyline wise, if we take away the business aspect of things, I agree with the fact that it would have been a nice idea to turn him heel against The Rock. I disagree on the fact that it was 28. It should have been 29, the second match, because if you remember in the first match, he was so dejected, he was defeated. He tried to do it the Cena way, he could not, and that following year was one of the worst years in John Cena's career, storyline wise. So building up to that WrestleMania 29 match against The Rock, and he finally gets the title off of him, that's when he turns heel. He has kind of like an Austin McMahon moment at the end. Maybe you have like the 4-month reign. Maybe you have a new hot thing right there with you. Roman Reigns is slowly coming up. Maybe CM Punk is turning a new leaf. Maybe he's top babyface. Maybe that's what you do then. But I would say
we saw what happened though when Roman got that rub, right?
Right.
When they gave Roman the ball and ran with it, the fans rejected it. And it's not to say Cena didn't get booed before,
right,
but you at least had that 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is, though, Cena still put the fans in the seats.
True. But going back to the merchandise, I know this from first-hand experience. My little cousin and a lot of family members were watching WWE because Roman Reigns, similarly like how kids were watching for John Cena. And when Goldberg came back, a lot of kids were invested in Goldberg, and I've seen that myself.
But you're basing this off of one feud, right? Like,
yeah.
Reigns over. Roman Reigns was already going to get over.
Yeah, exactly.
Roman Reigns was always Brock Lesnar. It's never John Cena. Again, like the love of John Cena turning heel. All that would have happened is you would have just flipped your audience. Everybody on the other side would have just cheered for him, and you would have lost everything from the kids on the other side. Turning John Cena has always been a bad idea. Now you could bring him back as a heel because he's gone. You've already lost it all, right? But doing it then, all you're going to do is flip the dynamic where all the smarks are going to cheer for him, but now all the ladies, all the women, all the young guys, and all the kids are going to say, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to buy the merch. I'm not going to cheer for him. And for what? For a 4 or 6 month run, like Tom put it, to maybe get Roman over, when at the end of the day, the only person that was going to get Roman over was Brock Lesnar.
True. Fair point. But like I said, going back to the original tweet, I disagree. It should have been at 28. Continuity-wise, if you're talking about telling a story outside of the business aspect of things, I would have said 29 would have been a good time to turn him. I agree with the fact that, no, that would have been a terrible time to turn him.
To find common ground here, both are trash ideas. 28 is more trash than 29.
Okay.
If this is how long it takes you guys to agree on something, I hate to see how long it takes for you guys to disagree. John Cena turning heel at 28 is trash. There we go. All right. So next unpopular opinion of the night comes from Heel Balor. Unpopular opinion: Sasha Banks is the better wrestler out of the 4 horsewomen.
I'm a Sasha Banks fan. She's my favorite wrestler currently, second only to like Eddie Guerrero of all time. So of course I'm going to agree to that, man. I think she's puts on a great match with just about anyone. Your fave Price had the best match of their career thanks to Sasha Banks. Charlotte gets the bigger matches. Becky Lynch has recently been the bigger name, and right now Bayley's knocking it out of the park. But consistently, in terms of in-ring action, in terms of being the best wrestler, I think that's Sasha Banks.
Cool. I'm going to kick this over to Steven and probably just testify to everything he's about to say, and he's going to clarify a little better for people out there. Go ahead.
So I'm a Sasha Banks fan. I like Sasha Banks.
But
it's clear, right? When we're talking about women's wrestling, period,
Yeah.
the best women's wrestler ever in the history of the world is from the Queen City. It's Charlotte.
No.
I mean, she can do everything. She looks fantastic. Look, watch her step on the stage. Immediately your eyes go to her. She can do everything in the ring. She can do high spots. She can do the power stuff. She can be technical. She can put you on the ground. Now, I'll admit this to you, Vince, because I like where you're going here.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha Banks has been the opponent to a lot of people's best matches. She is a fantastic seller, right? She's Dolph Ziggler. She is the maybe even the Shawn Michaels selling abilities when it comes to the women. Like if we're gonna compare her to somebody, look, Dolph Ziggler is fantastic in the ring. Sasha Banks is fantastic in the ring. She'd be my number 2, but come on, man, come on.
That's insulting to Sasha Banks comparing her to Dolph Ziggler, though. I'm just saying.
All right, let's throw it over to Thomas.
I know it's with Steven. So we've said for a long time, and that's why I kicked it over to him. Charlotte brings the intangibles to women's wrestling that WWE hasn't had in a long time. We understand the women's evolution and how it happened in WWE, and everyone played their role. I just feel Charlotte's role was more important than anyone else, and will go down as history as the one who really changed it.
There we go. So going back to Heel Balor, your opinion is trash.
Sorry, buddy.
Go. Sorry, bud. Let's go ahead and take that out of here. And also, by the way, I'm going to go ahead. The live chat's actually going off pretty good. So after every 5 opinions, I'm going to go back, try to catch up on the live chat, make sure that you guys know that we are paying attention to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, on to opinion number 3, coming in from Geno_Styles. Eric Bischoff belongs in the WWE Hall of Fame. If it wasn't for him, the Monday Night Wars wouldn't have been what it was, and he's contributed a lot to the wrestling business since. Shrug emoji.
All I'm going to say
I'm going to
is
start
that...
designating the first people. I'm going to go with Steven this one. Sorry.
Okay. Go for it, man.
I mean, is that an unpopular opinion? I mean, you could just go off his WWE run as maybe the best general manager they've ever had. Maybe the best heel moment ever, giving Triple H the world title. Not to mention what he did for WCW in the Monday Night Wars. Yeah, no, it's not even an unpopular opinion. It's just, I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. It's a matter of when.
Okay. He should be in every wrestling Hall of Fame, not just WWE.
Yeah.
The man changed the business. While I understand people are going to have their ideas of where the money came from, where the backing came from, who he brought in, those sort of things. Fact of the matter is, without Eric, there's no Monday Night War. How are you not going to have him into that Hall of Fame or any?
Yeah. Agreed. Honestly, my only argument here is his theme song alone deserves him to be in the Hall of Fame. That's one of the best theme songs, period. Just put him in the Hall of Fame for that theme song alone.
All right, so we're in agreement. Geno_Styles.
One last thing.
Yes.
You can't tell the story of wrestling, of professional wrestling, without Eric Bischoff.
No.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right, so you are the first one to get an approval on your unpopular opinion.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think wasn't the first. No, never mind. Never mind.
You guys just
correct.
all
This is
agreed.
the first one we've agreed on something, Vince.
I know. We're breaking boundaries here, man. We're breaking borders, man. We're getting on the better point.
All right, opinion number 4 for us, folks. Coming in from @ClassicMan1on1. There's not enough characters in pro wrestling anymore. Everyone wants to focus on in-ring ability more than having a true character. Let's go ahead and start with Vince.
Dexter Loomis is a perfect example of a great character. Orange Cassidy is a great character and barely wrestles. No, man, I think there's still great characters in wrestling right now. You look at The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. There's plenty of great characters. We just are appreciating more the in-ring style currently than we did back in like the 80s or 90s, because back then all you had to have is a really cool character and just maybe throw a couple stomps and maybe a body slam here or there.
Okay. Go ahead on over to you, Thomas.
I don't think it's so much of a question of is there too many, is there too little characters currently. I think the wrestling business has changed to where people are now much more humanized, and you look at somebody from a personality standpoint and you want them to be real. I don't think many people want somebody to come out as a full superhero and have these great superpowers, so it doesn't work. Once in a while it's great, gimmicks are fine. You mentioned Bray and The Fiend, and yes, it works. But if you have a roster of 79% characters, is that going to work?
So you disagree and think that we have enough?
It's how you use them, I guess, is my best take on this.
And then what'd you say, Vince? You agreed or disagreed?
I disagreed. I think there's plenty of characters right now.
Okay, Steven, any chance you want to sway him the other direction?
Yeah. No, not at all. No, what we have today is actually probably the best mesh of character and real life person, right? Like Eric Bischoff tapped in and said, "Hey, we don't need over the top characters anymore," but we still do have the Fiends of the world. We still do have the Dexter Loomises of the world. But even the Undisputed Era characters, right? Like,
you bring up a great point, though. But you guys, Steven, you bring up a great point. Look at New Day, right?
Yeah,
That's it's not a character per se. What it is great workers taking their gimmick to the extreme, and that's what creates the character. So a lot of it now is having the company get behind the worker and the worker running with it.
Yeah, my question would be, do they want Duke the Dumpster Drosy?
Right, the goon, MVP, gobbledygooker. I mean, let's
Isaac
go.
Yankum, that's what he's missing. He's missing like the OG like job characters. This is what he's missing.
Like look at Aleister Black or the Demon Finn Balor or
right.
Okay.
I think there's plenty of characters.
All right, there we go.
Sheamus, right? Sheamus is a character.
Yeah.
It's not who he is, right? I mean.
All right, so sorry, Classic Man, one-on-one. Your opinion is trash. All right. Let's get you out of here. And then for the fifth, and this will be the last one, then I'll go ahead and get into the comments here. The fifth unpopular opinion comes to us today from Just a Wrestling 5. Actually, no. Excuse me. He posted a question. It's actually Mongolian. Oh God, I forgot the last part of your name. I apologize. The screenshot's cut off. My apologies.
Okay.
But talking. Oh boys, this actually might hit close to home, you guys. Talking about ratings and drawing money is pure cringe.
Hey, stop. I will not acknowledge this conversation any longer. That opinion is trash. Go to your questions now.
I'd have to agree with Thomas here. I mean, like, if you want to...
Okay, stop. You're good. You don't even need to justify it. Steven, where's your trash can? Crumble it up in the garbage.
It's the worst of bad takes.
All right. Sorry, your opinion is trash. All right.
Jesus.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get through some of these comments. Blowouts in the chat. He says, "What's up, boss?" Standing Streamer sent us a bunch of acid tripping looking emojis, and he says, "Hello, hello." Standing Streamer says he's buying Heel Cena merch.
No, he's not.
Colby Faria from WNW says Thomas' voice is angelic. Blowout also says Charlotte buckles her knees when she does her moonsaults. Tell him. Standing Streamer says
earlier today.
AJ Lee is the best in the world.
Wait,
Blowout.
AJ Lee?
Yep. Blowout comes back and says Eric Bischoff can fuck himself. All right.
Okay, now is he taking care of himself while in the Hall of Fame, and then is he cleaning it up after he's done? I mean,
had nothing to do with the
talking
Hall of Fame.
That's
my
true.
God.
Colby once again says Steven can't go 15 minutes without mentioning HBK. Jesus Christ.
The greatest of all time.
Blowout once
That's
again
Eddie
says,
Guerrero, but that's okay. We can disagree on that.
Yeah, Luchasaurus. And Bray's the only character we need. Thank you very much. All right.
Cool.
Going on to the sixth opinion of the evening.
Yeah, wait. We have a fucking dinosaur in wrestling these days.
It's
If people
fucking
are saying-
awesome, dude. It's really good. Like,
Yes.
I love it, man. I love Luchasaurus. And I love that he's like got his masters in like medieval, like freaking, I don't know. He studied up on medieval shit, and he's got a master's in it, and I love it.
Masters and T-Rex. All right, let's go.
Yeah. All right. Coming in from Hazarix, he says, unpopular opinion, Daniel Bryan is the best heel in wrestling. Now, he did have a chance to elaborate this a little bit.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, before the show, he came in and he said, essentially, in his heel work, he's made all the baby faces he worked with, especially the eco heel, look a million times better, referring to, at least, of course, Kofi Kingston, what he did for Eric Rowan. I tend to agree with him. I thought Daniel Bryan at the time was the best heel in the business. I know I shouldn't be putting my 2 cents in this, so I'll stop. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Okay, cool. I can't name one other babyface that heel Daniel Bryan worked against besides Kofi Kingston. And this is not to say that heel Daniel Bryan wasn't great, because as a worker, Daniel Bryan can do whatever he wants to. He's fantastic. He's captivating. He understands the logic behind the wrestling. He'll get everyone into it. Mm-hmm. That's not the question, but to say that he was the best heel in wrestling, how far is he going back? Is he going back this year, last week?
All time?
It's very broad.
Yeah, if we're gonna take this and say all time, I mean he's wrong.
No. Let's go. Let's say the last 4 years even, like, because he's still not hitting that part.
Yeah,
He's not.
No, I'm trying to think of another heel that would. I mean, even Miz facing off against Bryan was a better heel than Bryan was.
Sure. I mean, Bryan. Don't get me wrong. Bryan was great. He was great, fantastic. But to be that heel, you have to be that edge, that Randy Orton, where people absolutely hate you. No one absolutely hated Bryan when he did it was the problem, because they wanted to see him have that real big comeuppance from the injury.
So you're saying the answer is Baron Corbin of the last 5 years. He's been the best heel in wrestling is Baron Corbin. So that's the answer. It's wrong by default because he didn't mention Baron Corbin.
All right,
so.
keeping this moving. Hazarix, sorry, bud, your opinion is trash. Lou, we're hating. These unpopular opinions are proving to be unpopular. All right, opinion number 7. Darren Blake, 2099. Women's wrestling in WWE is outshining men's wrestling in interest. Go ahead, and I'm going to start with you, Steven.
If Becky Lynch were still around, we could probably have this conversation. You could probably make the argument on Wednesday nights, on occasion, that that's true. But I don't think without Becky Lynch, I think there's a big drop off. Charlotte's injured right now. I don't see it. Look, and Bayley is doing some of the best work she's ever done. I don't want to put down the women in this, but I would say that the women are equal parts to the men on the show. I wouldn't call them better than, though.
Man, I really like how you said they were equal parts, because I think that's where we're at with WWE.
Yeah.
When we look at the contract signing, even this past week, they made Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka look as big of stars as the Drews of the world. Like, they put them all in the ring together. Like, again, are they getting those clean wins like Drew? No. Are they pushing the girls and the women to the moon like Drew? No. But all I'm saying is they're giving them a spotlight. They're having that chance to be equal, and that's fine. I think once you lost Ronda, and then you lost Becky, and now Charlotte's hurt, it's really hard to say they're taking over the show, because the drawing power, unfortunately, is going away.
That's a fair point. I would still argue that the Raw Women's title match is more entertaining and overshadows the men's WWE title match. You can go over to NXT, and one of the most exciting matches this entire week on any wrestling show is Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. Bayley right now is the one reason I tune into SmackDown, because I don't have to be on the SmackDown recap, so I just watch for Sasha and Bayley. So I think that's the question. Like, who are the ones that are entertaining you and captivating you the most? The reasons why you're watching and why you're hyped for a match or a feud, and it's the women. That for me, so I would say yes, Becky Lynch did take a hit in that, but regardless, I think the women right now are outshining the men.
Vince
For
trying to
me,
sway one of you. Are either of you going to jump ship?
No, I'm not.
they didn't jump on any fence. They didn't say yes or no. They just said, I think they're both equal on these.
Well, that's still disproving
I
the
don't think
opinion.
they're outshining though. Like the question is outshining, so
Yeah.
equal to is
Right.
not the outshining.
Okay,
Right.
All right, fair
I think
enough.
the thing is, like, I watch the shows for the Street Profits just as much as I watch maybe for Asuka.
Sure, and now
Right.
when you say outshine too, you have to look at the characters WWE's
That's the
made
first time
over
I've ever
these
heard that
last
statement.
8 months. So they've made Drew, they've made
Yeah.
The Fiend. Like, when you start talking these big names they've made, the women were there, unfortunately. That's not a negative or a positive. I think they've done a lot with Lacey, okay? But
Sure.
the women were already there. So when you're saying outshine, I can't say that. If they would have brought up, okay, for example, if they brought up an EO, or they brought up a Tony Storm, or they brought up one of the other NXT women and did something with them and then helped push them and motivate them, then we could say they're outshining. They don't seem to be doing those things at all. We look at Rhea Ripley and it's just
okay,
like,
so I see where you're coming
Rhea
from.
Ripley was so on fire
Yeah.
not long ago, and then now it's kind of fizzled. So no, I can't say they're outshining.
Okay,
right.
so sorry, Darren Blake, 2099. Your opinion is trash. Man, we're just yeeting everybody off of this show.
Vince agrees with almost all of them, though.
No, stop it. Stop it. I've agreed with maybe 3 or 2 of them. Tops.
All right, trying to push us to that halfway mark. Opinion number 8 says, unpopular opinion, AJ should have lost to Shinsuke at WrestleMania. Ooh, I like this one.
That's not unpopular at all. AJ should have lost to Shinsuke. Look at what Shinsuke's doing now. And AJ Styles isn't going to be hurt by any big loss. He took a big loss to Undertaker. He takes losses all the goddamn time. He's bulletproof at this point in his WWE career. He should have lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. I still stand by that to this day.
I'm under the belief when you say should or shouldn't have, I look in the future of what happened. And AJ obviously was the better decision for the future moving forward from that match. However, all the steam that Nakamura had, that big debut, that big entrance, this big stage on Mania, it's almost not so much the fact that he lost, it was the way that that match ended. Like, it couldn't have been any more anticlimactic. And yes, if we're talking, was that the wrong finish? Yeah, it was the wrong finish.
So you
That's all I'm
agree?
saying.
You agree
Yeah.
with Vince? Steven,
So
you
let
going to
me-
try and sway him the other way?
Let me. Can you read me the wording of the question?
Right.
Yeah. AJ
Okay.
should have lost to Shinsuke at WrestleMania.
It's tough.
Harder,
because
yeah.
If I look at it from Nakamura's perspective, it's absolutely awful because you just took the amazing debut, you took the amazing, the Royal Rumble win and everything, and you just kind of tossed it in the trash. But on the flip side of that, AJ Styles is the better guy going forward. AJ Styles has put over so many people, and you created a new star. And I'm going to go, a lot of people don't like to talk about the business end of it, but the gloves, the shirts, the hats, all the things that AJ Styles sells.
I mean, he helped carry that SmackDown show.
I think giving Styles that win was the right call because he was he was the guy carrying that show. He was carrying merchandise sales. He was your draw for the show. So yes, as much as you want to see the Rumble winner typically dethrone the champion, and as much as people wanted Nakamura to succeed so badly, the right call was still AJ Styles because he was the guy shouldering the load for the show.
Nice. I lost count on this.
I think Thomas agreed that based on everything that happened, Shinsuke should have won.
And with you, Vince.
I agree with that. I think Shinsuke should have won.
So, Kahi Wrestling has a popular opinion. Nice.
Oh Oh, yeah.
So we passed 2 now.
That's 2 we've passed. We are tough critics.
I'm not really
man.
passing any of them, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that first was a pass. That shouldn't have been an unpopular opinion.
Yeah,
So
the
we
Eric
passed
Bischoff
one.
one shouldn't have even been included, to be honest. Like,
Well,
who doesn't
technically,
think?
if the majority agrees with them, it already becomes a popular opinion. You
I
know?
think he was just
So
tweeting that for the likes.
the premise of this show is flawed. All right, give me a break.
Yeah. It's a work in progress, man.
Yes. Unpopular
Yeah,
opinion
next.
number 9.
Yeah.
Coming from Barkus Corey, Murphy is mad overrated. Something simple.
Buddy Murphy's overrated.
Yep.
Did he mention
Oh, wait,
the
wait,
buddy
hold
or
on,
just
hold on,
Murphy? I
hold
want to make
on.
sure I'm not looking for other
Excuse
talent
me.
here.
Excuse me. I apologize. For one, he has a really nice picture of Murphy next to the Monday Night Messiah, and he actually said Murphy is mad underrated. My apologies.
Mad underrated.
Yes.
I think he's fairly rated. I think everybody acknowledges that he's really good. We haven't seen enough character development for him to be like, wow, he's really underutilized. Like you could say with like an Oscar a couple months back, where we've seen their potential and it wasn't fulfilled on the main roster. Until I see more character stuff from Murphy, I think he's fairly rated. Obviously, he's a great wrestler and was a former champion. I think he's right where we think he is.
I'm with Vince on this one, man. I think that Murphy is where he should be at this point. I think his in-ring work is outstanding. I don't think he has all the developments for his character to be there all around yet. It's not to say he can't be or he won't be. But right now, too, he gets to work with Seth Rollins. Like, how can you say the guy is not getting a push when he's working with one of the guys in your main event spot? And eventually, it's going to be him or Theory that are going to turn on Rollins.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's a
Okay.
guy who
Anything you
gets
want to add
2
to
or
that,
3
Steven?
He's a guy who gets 2 or 3 segments every week with one of the biggest stars on the show. I think Vince nailed it on the head. He's properly rated. He's a really good in-ring talent that we haven't seen a lot of character-wise. He doesn't really pop when he walks out to the ring. Sometimes you think he's just another guy. I actually think on Twitter he's probably overrated. But as far as talent goes, he's super talented.
Yeah.
He can go. I want to see more out of him, but no, he's not underrated.
Okay. So, sorry, Barkus Corey, your opinion is trash.
Oh,
God. All right, one more, and we'll go back to the chat. We're actually going at a good pace. Looks like we're actually going to hit the hour mark and not drag this on to 1 o'clock in the morning like I was.
I'm enjoying this, though.
This is actually
This
pretty
is fun.
I actually
This is really
like
fun.
this.
Good job, Kyle.
Thank you. Unpopular opinion number 10. Brought on by the question from Fight TV, who is your favorite in wrestling commentary? Agiv I6. Okay, listen, this is just a weird handle. It's at AGAVI6. Okay. Their unpopular opinion is it's Excalibur, who's the favorite commentator. I actually like that answer.
That's trash. That is a trash opinion. When you have Samoa Joe on Monday Night Raw, absolutely killing it, being Mr. Perfect 2.0, I mean, it's an awful opinion. And look, I shouldn't disparage the good name of Excalibur. Is it Mr. Excalibur or just Excalibur?
Senor, I think.
I don't even know if he's the most beloved commentator on his own show. No, it would be Samoa Joe is the correct answer these days because he's absolutely killing it on Monday Night Raw.
It's not even just say it, but as long as Kevin Kelly is still working, how can you make that opinion?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think it's Bailey. She's proven that on Raw and SmackDown. I think Bailey is the best commentator in all of wrestling currently. Don't at me.
All right. Sorry, Agavi6, your opinion is trash. Uh-oh, hold on. I think I missed it. There we go. Yeah, they got yeeted. Okay.
Okay.
It's just a lot of yeets on this show. I never thought I would use that, and then tonight it just came to me. All right, going into the chat, which, by the way, I've been over here corpsing Colby. Colby is breaking my ass in this chat. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, where did we leave off? Steven can't go 15 minutes without mentioning HBK. Jesus Christ. Yep. Bray. Orange. Oh, here we go. Orange Cassidy sucks appreciation comment from Colby, who then goes on to If the only metric is me hating them to be a great heel, Orange Cassidy is top of the list. Wow, a lot of Orange Cassidy hate going on.
Wow.
Blowout says, sorry, too busy shining my own title. I hope you got that from Belts by Dan, Blowout. Going on down to Colby again. Ripley was fighting Charlotte at WrestleMania 3 months ago. Tomorrow she fights Robert Stone. Enough said.
Oh. Ouch.
Question: if she were fighting Robbie E in Impact, would we be saying that Impact's women's
The greatest main event ever, Slammiversary man versus woman, Robbie E. versus it.
Colby says, sure, AJ won the WWE title at Mania, but can he rock an all-leather onesie like Shinsuke?
No.
Not many can.
He's a Georgia.
No, I wouldn't put it, dude. I wouldn't put it past AJ. I think he'd do most things at this point.
Yeah, you can't really doubt the man. Blowout likes this opinion. Sorry, Blowout, I lost track of the opinion. Colby goes on, Murphy has the charisma of a doorknob, but he's great in the ring, though. Blowout says, remember when I asked him whether or not he was attacking Roman Reigns? I like that spot. Colby says, I remember that, actually, when whoever ran over Roman and people thought it was Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That it should have been
good.
Murphy. That would have given him more character.
By the
Instead,
way,
it was fake Roman.
By the way, my favorite segment of 2019. Tom yells at me all the time because he'll ask me like, "Hey, how should so and so get written off?" And I'm always like, "Hit him with a car."
Hit
Hit him with a car, kid.
Stone Cold proved it is perfect. Do it right before a pay-per-view, too.
Exactly.
Colby, a wrestling show and someone named Vince is making great points. Never thought I'd see the day.
There we go. There we go.
I told you, man, it's been hard.
We're
to keep
not
a
all
straight
bad.
face.
Just one old man gives all us Vince a bad name.
And then
That's all that is.
he finally signs off saying Excalibur needs to take off the damn mask. It's corny, in my opinion.
I'm okay with the mask.
I'm okay with it, actually. I ain't gonna lie. I really like Excalibur. Is he the best? No, but I really like Excalibur.
Yeah, I'm with you, guy.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay, moving on to opinion number 11. We are officially halfway through the list. Coming into us from Unpopular Opinion Wrestling, their @ is Unpopul 845-77078. A random idea for Randy Orton's character. Oh, I already know how this is going to go. He shouldn't be the legend killer. He should be the rookie killer. Fighting all the NXT call-ups, slowing them down, putting them in a main event feud. Once again, he shouldn't be the legend killer. He should be the rookie killer. Fighting all the NXT call-ups, slowing them down, and putting them in a main event feud. Well, I mean, if he puts them in the main event feud. Go ahead.
Trash. Not spending any time on this one. Why would you?
I like how he says he's not going to spend time on it, and then he goes on to spend some time on it, just groaning
It's
about it.
hurting my goddamn head. Like, I don't want to think about it. But like, why would you take away one of the best things that is ever done for his gimmick and/or career, and now kill kids that he'll have to put over, that he's going to have to lose to make it work? Hey, Randy, listen. Next week we're gonna have you go under Austin Theory. The following week you're gonna go under to Johnny, then Ciampa, then Matt Riddle. What do you think? Hey, you still there, Randy?
It's like,
No?
Randy, we got this guy, Keith Lee. He's going to be a huge star. First night on Raw, we want you to punt kick him in the head. Write him off television for 2 months.
You're the rookie killer.
I'm not spending time on it. Trash.
Nice.
Oh,
Trash
man.
opinion. He should be Triple H 2.0 with Evolution 2.0.
Yep.
Getting all the
He's
heat,
dead.
putting somebody else over.
Yep.
Oh, unpopular opinion wrestling. You live true to your name. It is trash. All right. God, I really love that one, though. I'm not going to lie. Moving on. Opinion number 12. From SCW_Steve, SCW Wrestling Channel, referring to Kenny Omega. Booked himself badly in AEW. Needs to fix that, starting with feud with Hangman. Oh, he's been booked badly so far. He needs to fix it by getting this feud going with Hangman, is the opinion.
Shit. No, for me, I think that's a no-brainer. I think he's been booked terribly. He's had great matches. His character is What is his character actually? I don't know what his character is. He used to be the best bout machine. He used to be the cleaner over there in New Japan. Even if he wasn't associated with Bullet Club, his stuff with the Golden Lovers was great character work as well. I don't know who Kenny Omega is, and Matt Ritter from our Stepbrother podcast hates Kenny Omega and has yet to see this best bout machine guy on AEW. I think he hasn't been. I don't think he's been doing anything of note on AEW. He needs to fix that.
The AEW version of Kenny Omega has been beyond neutered. This is a guy who should have led their company as the face of their company. If you want a revolution, you start a revolution with the best wrestler in at least North America, if not the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, what we've seen Kenny do is work a few hardcore gimmick matches and then be in a tag team. I don't get it. It boggles my mind when you look, and we won't get deep in those numbers. Every time Omega is not showcased on that show, there's a reason why that half hour, that quarter dies. Steven, I know you're with me on the Omega thing.
Causing some heat, man.
You and I have talked so much about this. There's an old saying, right? You go with the one that brought you to the dance. He's the guy that got people like me, the WWE guy, to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
He is Cinderella.
He's the guy that started this whole. Look, the Young Bucks are great, right? Like, I'm not going to but Omega and the Bucks are what kind of caused the groundswell.
Yes.
And what's happened is he's gone to AEW. He's booked a really poorly women's division. He's had some hardcore matches with Tom, or as Tom said, and he's been in a tag team. But we've yet to see that Kenny Omega that brought them to the dance.
Facts.
Honestly speaking, if WWE had signed him and booked him like this, where he were a tag champion with Shinsuke Nakamura,
Steven, how many messages a day would you say people would message you, release Kenny Omega? Kenny Omega.
1,000%. Yeah.
I've been saying this stuff for like almost a year now, and it's
Vince,
nice to know that there's
like,
some smart people out there that feel the same way.
The challenge is, Steven will tell you, okay, the challenge is they wanted Jericho as the heel, big name, big first-time champ. I get it. It made sense, right? The plan for that was then Omega to have the chase eventually, but they brought in Mox, and then they gave Mox the title. Then the pandemic happened. It's like, are you going to get to Omega before his contract expires?
Good point. I think it's fair to say, though, that SCW_Steve, you actually have a very good opinion. Although it really hurts people when you bring it to light. I will say that. Coming up, opinion number 13.
That hurt Kyle, apparently.
It really did, man. It really did. No, because it's some harsh truth, man. Opinion number 13. Coming back from Kahi Wrestling, who accidentally I got two of her tweets on here. Aleister Black should be a WWE champion right now. Aleister Black, world champion, right now.
No, wait. The WWE champion or a WWE champion?
No, the.
I mean, he probably wouldn't do any worse numbers than Drew McIntyre is right now, as much as I like Big Daddy.
Shit.
Cool Drew. Randy Orton should be the WWE champion right now. That's where
Edge would be the WWE champion right now had he not gotten hurt, yes or no?
Yes.
Probably. If they put the title on past his prime Hogan back in 2000, what was it, like 2002 or 2004? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised they put the WWE title on Edge one more time.
Not to go too far off your topic, okay? It's not the time for Black right now. The answer is no, not right now. It's not to say he can't 6, 7, 8 months from now. It's not right now.
All right. Sorry, Kahi Wrestling. The opinion is trash. I'm going to move some of these ones that are a little bit more obvious along, just because we are starting to fall behind on the time. All right. Coming in from Jaheen King. I miss when Impact Wrestling had the ropes neon yellow. That was a good look.
Neon yellow? When did they have neon yellow? Wasn't it green?
I'm out.
When they were like merged with like GFW or whatever it was that Jeff Jarrett created? That's trash. Trash.
Smartest businessman ever in the history of wrestling, Jeff Jarrett. No, I don't even remember them having it. I don't care. When it comes to rope color, I really don't care.
Just make them black, man.
Sorry, man.
But if I am going to talk rope color, it's not neon yellow. So the opinion is trash.
Sorry, I just actually had to Google it too because I was like, I don't remember this at all.
Did it happen?
No. Oh wait. I mean, NXT does. I don't even see.
No, I'm talking like neon yellow. Like I
No,
thought they
no,
were
he said
talking, like,
Impact.
Impact.
Right.
It was neon
Oh,
yellow.
Yep. Slammiversary 16 had some yellow ass ropes.
I mean, if we want to talk about bad Impact decisions, I'm not sure we should start at rope
With
color.
neon.
ropes are in the top 1,000, okay?
All right, listen, man. Sorry, Jaheen King. Your opinion's trash. Although it's an obscure opinion. All right, opinion number 15, and then we'll get back into the comments. At Peps Wrestling, face Sasha Banks greater than heel Sasha Banks.
Lies.
Nice. Trash. Don't even spend time on this.
Done, moving on.
Stop
We'll get
it.
through all the questions. They keep coming like
Damn.
this. Next.
Trash.
That's insulting to me.
Yeah, that's.
Oh man, that was a good one too. Thank you guys. All
Here,
right.
I'll throw a hot take out that's better than that one.
Go ahead.
Heel Bailey better than babyface Bailey.
Oh yeah, I agree. I never would have thought I would have agreed until I saw it, but yeah, I agree.
I think it's hard if you look back at NXT face Bailey because she was so hot at that time. But I can honestly say at least WWE Bailey, still Bailey better than face Bailey.
I don't know if I can jump on board the train of heel Bailey is better than NXT babyface Bailey because
Right.
everybody
Close one.
loves
It's
Bailey.
But definitely WWE though, right?
What?
Main roster Bailey.
Oh yeah, God,
heel-
that's awful.
Right.
Main roster Bailey, babyface Bailey's been awful.
For sure.
Colby says Orton murdering actual kids would be actually smarter than this idea, referring to being the rookie killer. And then he went on to say, sorry, I'm back. I had to go block that guy with the Orton opinion. Omega needs to stop putting on 20-minute barn burners with local talent every Wednesday. The best wrestler in the world's best singles match in AEW. He was being suplexed on mousetraps, referring to Kenny Omega. If Alistair didn't have 106 tattoos and can do a spinning back kick, he'd be in the 24/7 title picture. Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
But hey, quick question. I'm gonna go on a question for Vince and Tom real quick. And you know what, you too, Kyle.
Yep.
Better move the spinning back kick from Aleister Black or the spinning back elbow from Andrade? Kyle, you start.
Oh, man. See, I'm a big MMA fan, so I actually do take a hot take on these two moves. I will say Aleister Black, although it scares me more. I will say his looks better. Although it sits heavy with me because that move, there's such a little margin of error before you legitimately hurt the guy you're putting it on. Whereas that elbow, you can kind of pull that a little bit safer. So, but I'm gonna say Aleister Black. I like the black mass more.
I'll go next. I'll say that I think Aleister Black's Black Mass is better just because it's ended matches, and unlike the elbow, and in the wrong hands, we see Chris Jericho try to do that elbow, and it's terrible. Not too many people can pull off what Aleister Black is doing. I think that's just a little bit more impressive. I can go spin really fast and not hit somebody with my elbow. I can't do what Aleister Black does with those kicks. I'm not that flexible.
Well, I think Black's kicks look more spectacular than the back elbow from Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Andrade's back elbow looks much better than Chris Jericho's back elbow if we're comparing back elbow to back elbow.
Yes.
When I look at Andrade's back elbow, I'm like, please keep that away from my face. When I look at Jericho's, I'm like, I'll take that.
Hey, listen, the one Jericho hit Darby Allin with when Darby was doing a suicide dive, that looked like it was murder.
I think that's just Darby killing himself just to do it. He does that regardless of a spinning elbow.
Sorry, Kyle. Continue with your show.
Yes. What do we got next, Kyle?
We're on the last 6 here because I had to do 21. I don't know why I didn't just do 20, but 16. At HugePop_7 says, I really like what WWE are doing with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt at the moment. If the story is heading the way I think it is, there's speculation on this one. But overall, he says he actually likes what Braun Strowman is doing.
Does he say heading which way?
Nope. That's where the speculation goes in. He just leaves it how he thinks it's going. It's up to us.
Where's the
Sean
hot
Jarrett
take?
says, "What's up?" Sorry, Sean probably wasn't in here beforehand. I'm reading off all the messages after every 5 opinions, Sean. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, I'll kick it off then. I think Braun and Bray. I think the story's fine. Actually,
Yeah, it's fine.
I've been saying for a while now. I think they are a natural match for each other. I think they can put on some big old hoss fights with each other, and I do love the throwback to Swamp Colt Bray Wyatt. Actually, if you ask me, and this is an unpopular opinion, that Bray Wyatt is probably I probably enjoy more than the Fiend.
Ooh.
Same.
All things considered.
Same.
Oh no. That
I'll
hurts.
touch
When
on.
he first, go ahead.
That hurts.
No, I was gonna say I'll touch on as soon as Thomas finishes his point.
So when I look at Cult Leader Bray, like it was so good, and that's what got everyone locked in. And it's not to say the Fiend gimmick and personality is not good. Okay, I'm not taking that away, but there's very few people worker-wise that could have pulled off Bray Wyatt.
Sure.
I think a lot of people can pull off the Fiend worker-wise. If I'm being honest, that's why I agree with you. I think his Bray stuff was probably a little better. My problem is the shelf life on any of his characters is not long, and that's been proven. It's unfortunate because the in-ring style goes back to the same person it was before, and it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Husky Harris, whether it's Bray Wyatt,
I
whether
will
it's
say the
Fiend.
Fiend has a little extra pop on his moves, and he broke Finn Balor's neck.
You mean he no sells?
But
He
here-
broke Finn
but
Balor's neck.
guys, he can no sell or he can sell, and that's fine. But I'm saying it's the same move set. It's the same
Yeah, it
match
is.
perspective.
It's actually what I saw a lot of people complain about Demon Finn and regular Finn back in NXT. It's like there was no difference in the in-ring product and in his style. It was still the same moveset, except he was just painted up. They tried to make it feel like it was a different character. There was no different moveset. You're completely right there, Thomas. I'm actually going to agree with Steven here and say that I do also think Cult Leader Bray Wyatt was way better because there was more substance
Hold on. Back
to the character.
opinions, though. Back to the
Back
opinions.
to the
The
opinion,
match is
however.
fine. Yeah,
Back to the
issue.
opinion.
The build is fine. I like it now that it's the
Braun's
Cult Leader.
direction is what's liked. Not
Braun's
not
direction-
not Bray Wyatt, but the direction Braun is.
No, I'm saying about the feud in general. Like now that we're going back to the roots of it, Cult Leader Bray Wyatt versus this Braun Strowman, going back to a more darker tone of his original character, I enjoy. I didn't like when it was like Funhouse Bray versus just like train like Braun Strowman.
Oh,
You know,
God, I hate that.
that's
Braun
it.
Strowman.
It is what it
Honestly
is.
speaking, if I could get 10 minutes a week of Braun Strowman just running people over and flipping things over, I'm in.
Yeah, I don't need big matches with Braun. You throw some people around, you break some things. Like I think it works. Like,
He
and if
should
it's not
be
broken,
a
don't
modern
fix
day
it. Like,
Goldberg, honestly. Be in
I
and
mean,
out
I don't
in
think
about
you're
3
that far
minutes
off.
flat.
If it's booked right, I don't think you're that far off. He does not need to be working 6-minute matches, 7-minute matches.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all in agreement. Actually, this is a good opinion. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
apparently.
I'm sorry. It's just shocking.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to find good opinions on Twitter.
I'm telling. Ain't that the truth?
If you
Jesus.
want to find good opinions on Twitter, you can go to Twitter @view_raw and find them all day.
All right. Opinion number 17. The Boneyard match sucked. Hope this helps.
Move on. Opinion number 18. Anybody else want to? No. Yep.
No.
Ready? Just hit the buttons, right? Where's the
Undisputed
buttons? Where's the axe at?
You are trash.
Next.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Oh man, the disrespect. You know, Rob didn't like the Boneyard match. Neither did Kevin.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're AEW guys.
I don't know, man.
I don't care who
Kevin
you are.
treads lightly on it, though. Kevin treads lightly. He doesn't call it trash, but he's like, I wasn't the biggest fan, you know.
If Styles would have rode in on a horse, he would have loved it.
And then he hits on my wife. Going on to @Braun and Davis. Orange Cassidy is the biggest wrestler in today's wrestling.
Are we talking
This
physically?
can't
he's
be
the
real,
biggest?
right? Someone's trolling Steven, right?
I'm assuming
This is
he
a troll
means
question, right?
best wrestler, all the money, Orange Cassidy. That's how I
All
interpret
right,
it.
I'm gonna answer this on behalf of the three of us, and Vince, I hope that you're in the same game plan because I'm speaking for you. When you can't draw 550,000 in your main event segment, you're not the biggest star in wrestling.
I agree, but I still like Orange Cassidy.
No one said you like him or not. The question
agree.
was,
I agree.
At Braun Davis, your opinion is trash.
Jeez. Thomas is about to hit me with that back elbow if I didn't agree with him sooner.
Right through the screen, too. It was through Steven's screen into yours. Boom!
I was ready for it, just in case. I'm glad I didn't have to say anything.
Right.
Right.
I didn't need you to yell. No.
Moving on to at Luke W1124. I don't like Cody. That's the opinion.
I would
Apparently
say
I don't.
I don't know if that's a hot take, though, because that's like a straight up, I don't like someone.
Wait, is it, do we not like Cody or do we not like his tattoo?
It
Because those are two different things.
just says
No, the
Cody.
tattoo isn't a question, though.
AEW.com.
I will interject here because this is more of a hot take. I will say that he means Cody Rhodes is not a big deal. That's how I'll interpret it.
I completely disagree. Actually, being on conference calls with him and seeing the way he treats fans, he's a super likable dude in real life. I mean, just mega down to earth. He's super likable.
For sure.
I think he's a big deal. I think he did a lot. I think his feud with Nick Aldis over the NWA title was one of the best things that happened that fall in all of wrestling. Cody's a big deal, but I mean, my guess is he's probably got 50 tweets over the last 3 days, like, NXT beat AEW in the rankings last week. My guess is that's that guy.
That might be.
I would say I have not cared for anything that Cody has done since that Dustin match. That's all I can say about that.
You know what, though? For you to say that, Vince, I don't think it's that far out of the realm of because you're gonna get to think what do you do after? Okay, you have the stuff with you can't get another championship match, so on and so forth, which right now we're seeing the aftermath of because instead of pushing one of the younger guys to the TNT title, Cody has to have it because we didn't write a stip in. No, I don't feel that Cody is booked too much. I think Cody's very good for their company. I disagree with where he's positioned on the show.
But I mean, if you look every week at his matches on AEW, they're probably the best match on the show.
But that's why I don't want a title on him. No, I agree, but I don't need the title on him to do that.
Oh no, I mean, but it's not about the title.
You're talking, is he a star of the show? Yeah, I mean, again, who's a bigger star right now? And I hate to say this, okay, Kenny Omega or Cody Rhodes?
It's Cody Rhodes.
That shouldn't be a question right now, but that's a reality.
Yeah, so to answer the question, no, Cody Rhodes is not trash.
Okay. All right, we'll give it that. So your opinion, Luke W1124, is trash. There we go. Dude, there's going to be... You guys have to go back and watch this. Everybody's getting yeeted off this show. All right, so I saved probably the two biggest heated opinion pieces. So I'm actually going to feel kind of sad if you guys settle it in 30 seconds.
Right.
So simmer with these two, if we may, because they are the last two of the show.
So this is 20?
This is 20 and 21.
Nice.
Which one do I want to do first? I want to do 20 first. 20 first. Okay. Coming in from at LD Angeli. So maybe an unpopular opinion here, and to each their own. So you know it's a big deal because they're really tiptoeing on this one, which I respect. Wrestling needs to take a break. WWE, AEW, whoever else, it's time. Providing entertainment is amazing. It's been my entire life, and we need and want it. However, the risk is greater versus the reward.
I'll let one of you guys go first.
Okay, I have no problem. I have no problem starting this one. So here's my take. This has always been my take on all of this. I believe when it comes down to the companies, WWE, their first priority should be the business of the WWE. They've told their workers, you do not have to work. You can go home. They are choosing to work. They are choosing to push forward, and they are putting on a product within the guidelines and the laws of the state that they are in.
It wasn't until this Friday they started wearing masks, though. Were they really following guidelines?
Well,
that's the state guideline.
So again, look.
That's the problem, though. It's the problem with the state.
If the conversation is, I believe they should do something anecdotally, or you believe they should do something,
right. You're talking legality-wise.
Then we're not going to get anywhere. But if we're talking about what does the state allow, right? And then what is WWE allowing? And then what are the workers doing? If they're all saying, all three of them, wrestling goes forward, I'm fine as the consumer with wrestling going forward. So my take is I'm fine with wrestling still being on television as long as they're following all the laws, all the guidelines as provided by the state that they're running in.
Thomas?
I think the state they're running in has very, very, very screwed up guidelines. I think the state they're running in has very artificial basis of testing. But I'll say this. I can't, like Steven had mentioned, fault them. Because at the end of the day, from a legality standpoint, they won't be sued. Because everything they did was legal in the state of Florida. They're doing the same thing AEW is doing. They're filming in the state of Florida. Are they doing COVID testing like AEW? No, they're not. Are they now? Yeah, they are. But the big question becomes, once again, they didn't have to before, unfortunately. So I can't necessarily look at them and go, I'm penalizing you because you didn't go above and beyond to take care of your guys. Would I personally have liked for them to go a little more above and beyond? Yeah, I would have, me personally. But from a business, no. Steven mentioned they let everyone stay home and didn't feel comfortable. And that's reality. Anybody who didn't feel comfortable got to stay home.
Yeah, but you also have to take into the fact that, yeah, everyone was getting that option, but how many times were like, oh, you leave, but you're risking your push being taken away or something along those lines. Again, you guys address the political side of things, like, you know, the business side of things.
So,
me as like
you say that, so you look at Owens, right? Kevin Owens
because
left.
his position is locked. Roman Reigns, his position is locked. Even someone like a Sami Zayn.
Name me somebody then who went home who should be a concern, is my question.
I think everyone should be.
Sammy should be concerned he went home?
I think
Or are you going to tell me Sammy's position's locked too?
It's more locked than Apollo Crews or an Angel Garza.
Well, no. Apollo Crews is still working. Steven, go ahead.
Of course, your position is in worry if you're not working, right? It's no different than you're injured. It's no different if you choose to go home.
Mm-hmm.
It is no different than if you get sick. It is no different of anything, like anything in the world. Think about baseball. If you were a baseball player and you go out with an injury and your replacement comes in and does better than you did, your position on the team is in jeopardy. So yes, I hate the thought process. I hate the premise of if you go home or you make a decision for yourself that is against what the company would like you to do, your position's in trouble. Yes, because you are not working. You are giving up your spot in hopes that it will still be there when you return. I would say if Matt Riddle goes out and kills it tomorrow or every week, rest of the all the years, right? Matt Riddle goes out and just kills it. If he takes Roman Reigns' spot, does he not deserve it? He was there. He worked his tail off and he took the spot. Roman Reigns had the opportunity. He chose to go home, and both are okay. Like, both decisions are fine.
Yeah, no, but again, like going back to the question, you guys touched on that aspect of things, but I'm going to touch on the moral side of things. I don't think wrestling right now is essential. I don't think pro wrestling as a whole is an essential business, and by that premise alone, I don't think it should be continued. Are they doing anything illegally? Are they doing anything wrong? More like based on what you guys have mentioned? No, they're not. They're within their means to go ahead and continue what they're doing. Heck, the NBA is about to start up in a month, and I'm excited for it. But I don't think any of that is essential. I don't think wrestling should be.
So here's my question, and I know we're digging a little deeper into this. It's hitting a lot more hard issues for everyone.
I wanted at least one
everyone in the world right now,
cut
right?
opinion, just by the way.
So
go for it.
When we look at this, I don't think you necessarily can look at what one does versus one other because it depends on where they are. For example, Vince, I don't know where you're located right now, right?
Chicago.
You're in Chicago, right? I'm in Detroit. I've already dealt with the fact of my COVID cases being absolutely plateaued and through the roof, right? We've done with lockdowns more than most people. This isn't political. I'm just stating facts here. So when we look at the pro wrestling aspect of it, if companies can operate in cities and in states that are much safer environments than others, I can get behind that. Okay. I'm struggling right now with this question because I see our two biggest companies in the United States running in Florida right now. That is a struggle for me right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If you can just move them to Alaska, there's less COVID cases there, and I'd be totally okay with it. If they were like isolated in a bubble, almost like the NBA is trying to do, and even that's not perfect, I'd be okay with it. But my entire point throughout this whole thing, wrestling is not essential. We don't need wrestling right now. It's a luxury. That's all I'm saying on the
So
whole.
you would agree you don't need the NBA too, right?
No, I don't need the NBA, even though I miss it.
Let me say that, but we've moved past essential, right?
Right.
And when it was essential, they taped everything before it became the essential thing to do, and then
Yep.
it was and then they were stated to be essential legally, right?
I still don't think wrestling should be going on right now.
Listen,
There's
boys.
nothing that can change my opinion on
We've
that.
given this one question 10 minutes. I want to get a solid
Okay.
answer from you guys.
I am fine with wrestling continuing as long as they. I will say this real quick. I wish they didn't have the fans around the ring, and I wish they didn't have anybody else. I wish they did keep it to essential personnel only. But I'm fine with them continuing as long as they are following all state and local guidelines.
I think they should shut it down. Period.
Okay, and on you, Thomas.
I'm okay with them being open the way they are, but they have to start following more cautious guidelines and regulations, because I think the major issue, we saw the most recent outbreak, right? We don't know how bad it was. We've heard things. Everyone's heard different things because of HIPAA laws, obviously. No one has an exact number. I don't care who you are. You don't have an exact number. We've heard dozens. It concerns me because that's when they started putting people back in the buildings.
Right.
Prior to that, we can say, hey, they didn't have any, but we don't know because they didn't test.
Right.
I want to say they're fine with running shows, but companies have to do a better job of being precautionary. And I don't know if I'd run in Florida anymore, if I'm being honest.
I wouldn't stay in Florida.
It's a fair point. Although such a serious opinion, I hate to just simplify it as this. LD, Angeli, your opinion is trash.
That was harsh.
That was harsh, but
hey, look, man, I'll take that.
These are the rules of the game,
These are the
unfortunately.
rules of the
Yeah,
game
absolutely.
we're playing.
She knew what she was getting into when she made that tweet, unaware of this show.
Unaware. Give us your unpopular opinion. I'm going to rip you apart live.
Oh man! All right, so this one, I think can get equally discussion wise. However, I don't believe this has to hit you as personal. All right, or if it does, maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, Vince, this might hit close to home to you.
Okay.
Last unpopular opinion of the evening, coming in from @Planet Williams #1. I really don't want to see CM Punk return to in-ring action in WWE. He seems happy without it. No need to go back if he doesn't want to.
I'm gonna wait till after you guys speak because I'm biased here. I'm from Chicago. He's one of my favorites. So
What's
you guys
the
go first.
question?
Yeah. Are we framing
so,
this?
So the unpopular opinion
or
is not wanting CM Punk to return to WWE.
Okay. He doesn't want him to return.
Does not want him to return.
Okay.
Either you guys go for
Okay.
first.
I would like to see him return. He's one of the biggest stars of the last 15 years. He went out in a way that I don't think people really want to remember him going out. I would love to see him in a program with Triple H. I'd love to see him in a program with Seth Rollins. I'd love to hear his music hit one more time. I'd love to hear him cut a promo one more time, walk down the ring one more time. Do I need him for 3 years? No. Would I love him for 3 months? Absolutely. I would love to have CM Punk back in the ring.
I don't like what ifs, and I don't like unfinished situations. And I feel like CM Punk and WWE were both those things. It was a what could have happened, and it was unfinished. Punk was just hitting that strive right when he left, right? There's a lot of money on the table for him if he chose to do it. I will say this, though. That clock or that hourglass is ticking on him to do this again. And I think he knows that. He made his bed at the first Vegas All-In, the way he handled business, and chose what side that if he was ever going to work again, it would be, and he chose WWE. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The way he talked about AEW, the way he went on to the Fox WWE show and hosted it, he pretty much made it loud and clear. If I ever go back to wrestling, we have to work through all of this with Vince. That's the only way it'll happen.
I'm gonna go out. Being that he's one of my favorites, I'm from Chicago. I would love to see him return with the caveat that Thomas said, as long as he doesn't wait too long, because I don't want an Undertaker situation where he's out here embarrassing himself, or like Goldberg when he's out here embarrassing himself. If he comes back within the next year or two, I don't know how old he is exactly, but if he can
late
come,
30s,
if he can come in here and make
he's older than that.
If he can come in here like around, like maybe like a surprise appearance at the Rumble or like during Mania season, get like a good 3-4 months out of the guy, and like put like a cherry on top of his career.
41.
And,
yeah,
I would be okay if he comes and does one short run. Don't even if you don't have to put him on the title scene, just put him in top programs. He's is money. That's a big what if. We saw with Edge, he can come back and have at least one good match and have a big pop. We saw that with Daniel Bryan. I just don't want an Undertaker situation with CM Punk. And if he feels like if he's going to come back and just shit the bed, don't do it.
But I think the biggest difference, Vince, between him and Taker is body. Okay, you can
styles
take
too,
out the
wrestling styles too.
But no, hang on. You can take out the fact of the work rate and the effort. Like, I'm not saying who was or wasn't better. When I look at Taker and the size of his body and his frame and his age versus Punk, I can't put them in the same comparables. CM Punk might be in the best shape of his life naturally at the age he's at right now. So when we look at this and we go, can he come back at 41, going to be 42? I look at it and say, it's going to have to be in the next 1 to 2 years to make it worth it for him long term.
Agreed. If it's within the next, like, I'll even say maybe 3 years. Do it before you're 45.
But I agree with you too, though, Vince. It's not a long term thing for me, and I don't think it will be for him. It's one of those things where maybe he gets an Edge deal. I'll work 6 dates a year, 6 programs a year, build them up, whatever it may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to be on TV every week.
I will say there was no better place to return him than Survivor Series.
No.
In Chicago.
There wasn't.
Don't. I was there. Don't put that in there.
It should have happened.
It should have. There were so many spots. The cards were so lined up with him doing the Fox show. There were the rumors. As
soon as fans knew that AEW was off the table, then it should have been Survivor Series. Steven's right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, so let's wrap that opinion up. Sorry, Planet Williams #1. Your opinion is trash.
Right to end the show on trash.
Right.
Oh, man.
I'm just going to bring a bucket next show so I can grab.
Here we go.
Kobe, every time you do it, though.
Yeah.
Just say Kobe every time you do it. This was fun, though. Like, a lot of good ones mixed in with a bunch of trash.
Yeah. So, bringing it back here, really quick, you guys. That was the show Unpopular Wrestling Opinions. In my opinion, I think it's the greatest show of all. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion. Who knows? Maybe it's just a terrible fucking joke. But Thomas and Steven, thank you guys sincerely coming on
thanks
here.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, looking for a good way to break you onto the SmackDraw podcast without it just being an everyday recap. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity. Lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the live chat. Go ahead and get these last bit of messages, which is pretty much mostly your boy Colby, who got himself banned from Twitter. I can't wait to go over that with you guys.
Hey, okay. So quick question, just because I was so confused. I was chatting with someone on Twitter.
I love how they both reacted the exact same.
So I was talking to someone, and the Twitter handle was Tatted CJ or something along those lines, and we got along, and I had booked him for an NXT recap, and then he just disappears off of Twitter. Is that Colby?
Yeah, that's Colby.
Okay, so I was wondering. I was under the assumption that was the same guy, but I'm like, I didn't want to just like have an awkward conversation. I'm like, hey, are you Tatted CJ? You know, like, are you the same guy invited to NXT and then got banned off of Twitter?
Okay, yep. It was only his first. We're good. Nothing new has occurred.
Yeah. So he let alone was able to get himself banned off of Twitter and then get back in the live chat via us streaming to Twitch. So there's a benefit of us streaming to multiple platforms. Says AEW. Okay, wait, no. Here we go. Karen Bailey, Hugger Bailey. Yeah, I agree. Karen Bailey is better than Hugger Bailey, my opinion. Sean Jarrett says, "What's up?" Okay. TVT Ted White Boy, which you guys said is Colby. Twitter banned me from commenting anymore. And he said, I said fuck in a message, and they said nope. All right. So here we go.
It's like being in DMs with that guy.
Retreading.
I got a good one for you if you want to see it.
Yeah. So, retreading. Should WWE be, cease operation? He says, I don't think they need a break. Nobody's being forced to show up. Nobody's there against their own will. If they want to show up, they show up. If they don't want to show up, they won't show up. Everyone employed by WWE is an adult and capable of making their own decisions. As long as they are not going against state government regulations, they should keep running shows. Whoever doesn't want to show up doesn't need to. AKA, also, it's Colby from Twitter. LOL. AEW has sneakily done this, maybe even worse than WWE in some aspects. They have 50-plus people around the ring at all times. No social distancing, no masks. I disagree. They have some masks.
There's zero social distancing.
They don't get 1% of the backlash WWE does. I kind of feel you on that.
I think one of the concerns, and I'll just jump in here, it'll be kind of my last take. I didn't care for people in their audience in the lower bowl and upper bowl last show. While I understand legally they were fine, socially distanced, they were spread apart. I just don't understand why you needed that.
Yeah,
I think they're trying to get the image. I think they're trying to.
But they didn't. They
like
purposely didn't pan to them though. I'm talking the ones not around ringside, but actually in the crowd, the
until
lower
you
bowl
had
and the
the
upper
closing
bowl.
segment with Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Yeah, you really didn't notice them. I agree
and I'll
with
say
you.
this, and like I'm going to piggyback on that because there's people like Vince who make a really really strong case of why they shouldn't run, right? So why add fuel to that fire? Why not run the bare bones show you can possibly run and still put on an entertaining show, but still take all the precautions you possibly can? I hate the people around the ring. I do love the plexiglass. I do love that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I could do without the people around the ring. I could do without anybody in the stands. I would literally just love whoever's booked on that show is there for that show, and then they're gone. Maybe you do tapings. I don't know, but
dude, it's like go in, work your match, clean down the ring, sanitize the ropes, and go home. Like that's it. Like
understanding what you guys say from a ignorant fan's perspective like mine, who has a very hard time keeping my attention. The audience around the ring, the ambience lets me know when I should be glued to the screen and stop looking at my damn phone. So granted, it's a selfish need, but it serves that purpose. It keeps my attention.
I wish I had a pancake to throw at you as I said shit.
Look, man, I didn't say it was a good opinion, okay? I fully admitted I was ignorant.
It definitely adds to the show.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that.
not
But is it
arguable.
needed?
Yeah.
No, I thought WrestleMania was fine without any fans.
Yeah.
Man, it was rough for me.
That
but
Triple H SmackDown is still one of my favorite shows within this year.
that I agree with. They did that, but that's hard to do week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a bubble, that episode was amazing, but there was no way of replicating that on a weekly basis.
And I mean, hell, there's promotions that have been doing it now for years. Look at Ring of Honor. They've been running socially distanced shows for years.
That's fucked up, man.
You're talking facts here, and you're telling him that's effed up? These are just facts. I think November was 64 average. You're telling him that's effed up?
As a man that's
God.
attended plenty of Ring of Honor shows here in Chicago, I can attest to that being true.
Colby, who's a huge part of the show, apparently. WWE did do social distancing the first few shows with fans. Then they have plexiglass, whatever. Okay. Blowout. I think you're wrong. Whenever Roman comes back, he'll be right into it. I kind of agree with that. I don't see Roman ever having to work his way back up the card.
Well, no. It wasn't that Roman can't get back to the top of the card, but if Matt Riddle kills it for the next 2 years, he's going to take that spot, whether Roman's there or not.
Yeah.
It's exactly like the scene of Brock Lesnar stuff. He kind of just came and took one of the top spots, and when Brock Lesnar came back, he was another
You're
top
talking
star.
about a top 6-7 guy of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the time, he was almost getting fired before he started rapping. So
I do agree with this point. He says, I don't like Ric Flair, Jake Roberts, or Jim Ross being at the shows. That I can agree with.
It's a bad look.
That you're definitely
Terrible
playing
look.
with
There's
fire.
no excuses. None.
until we get holograms working properly, I don't want to see them there.
Yes.
Flair did cut a great promo on Monday, though.
He did.
It was a really good promo. I could have got it via satellite, though.
Now moving on to the CM Punk conversation. Well, yeah,
Damn, how much they
if he doesn't want to, then obviously he shouldn't be there. But he said, if you're a legit WWE fan, Vince, and say you don't want Punk to return, you're a liar. I don't know why I shouted at you for that. I just wanted
I thought he had to put that in.
No, that
the
was
match.
me. That was
Oh,
me.
okay. No. I said I want to see him back, but I don't want to see him past his prime, though.
Well, he's
do
already
it.
past his prime.
Stop
Being
it.
an enormous MMA fan, whatever keeps him out of the octagon, I'm all for. I agree with you there. CM Punk and Vince need to get their relationship straightened out before he has the possibility maybe to great pop and big revenue. Oh, before he passes that opportunity. Yeah, because at one point the fans will stop caring. I'm sorry, but that is the truth.
Yeah.
We're already getting there.
Yeah, we're borderline there already.
Might have already passed it.
He got pieces up by news journalist Mike Jackson, LOL. Or he got pieced up by a news journalist Mike Jackson. I don't get the reference. I'm sorry. You guys are forgetting about the cinematic matches vignettes of CM Punk and Undertaker battling it. That's from Blowout. I did not see that feud, so I'm sorry.
It was a really good feud.
Yeah, I
still
believe it.
popped when he brought out the urn and Paul Heyman was Paul Bearer. Like he cosplayed as Paul Bearer. I thought it was a good feud. It was a good build up because it was about breaking the streak without actually pinning the Undertaker because he could lose the streak by getting DQ'd or counted out. And I thought that was a unique take on the streak. So I really like that build.
Okay. Well, that seems like it, man. We kind of ran a little bit long, but not too long. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Thomas, for coming on the show. But, I mean, really, that's it. I'll let you guys go ahead, starting with you, Thomas. Anything you want to plug, go ahead. Let the fans know everything about you, whatever you want to plug.
Cool. You can check me out on Twitter at Thomas Fenton WNW and obviously WrestlingNewsWorld.com. More importantly, July 11th, for our frontline nurses who took care of us during the COVID outbreak months ago, Synergy Wrestling presenting on July 11th for our frontline nurses, a benefit show. And in the main event, we have Alex Zane versus Blake Christian live on Fight TV July 11th. You can check out Fight TV or Wrestling News World or myself or Steven for all that information. I appreciate you guys having us on. It's fun.
And if you like hearing me argue audio version of me debating people, you can check out the written version of that every day on Twitter at @view_raw. You can see all of our work over at WrestlingNewsWorld.com. And again, sign up for our premium membership right now. We are giving out a 30-day free trial. And please check out all of our affiliated podcasts like the Smacked Raw podcast.
We got
I appreciate the plug, man. I appreciate the plug, man. Yo, Steven always shouts our stuff out, man. I appreciate that, man. That support, it's just, it's big. It's big. We appreciate it. And we'll remember that when we get big, man. We'll bring you along for the ride.
I'm all up. If you want to carry me along when you get big, I'm all for the ride, brother.
For sure, man. For sure.
And over here at the Smack Raw Podcast, we plug enough stuff on our weekly recaps. We're just going to bow out gracefully once again. Thank you to the Wrestling News World guys coming on the show. And for you viewers, thank you guys for watching. And until next time, you guys have a good one. This is where y'all say peace and bye.
Oh. It's not like I've done this show for almost a year.
No one ever gets. All right.